All right, everyone, this is Marco Palmero, founder of Ulysses in Dubai. In this video, I want to discuss with you building up relationships from a business perspective in UAE and Middle East. And I want to do that because I was having a very interesting discussion with a friend of mine, and we were brainstorming ideas around entering the UAE market. He was interested in doing that, and we were exploring potential solutions that could benefit him and that could be... All right, everyone, this is Marco Palmero, founder of Ulysses in Dubai. And in this video, I want to discuss with you the concept of building up business relationships in the UAE and Middle East. And I want to do that because I was having a very interesting discussion with a friend of mine, and together we were brainstorming ideas around entering the market with its current company. And so I thought I would share some of the ideas that we discussed over this video, and I thought these ideas could be helpful for other businesses that are currently exploring market entries in UAE and Middle East, or at least are thinking about this concept. So the idea we were discussing with him was how to enter a market as a distributor. And that was an interesting topic because although we are quite familiar with distribution, this is not one of the core focuses of our company Ulysses. Mostly we focus on acquisitions of existing businesses, setting up businesses, and or DealFlow services, off-market DealFlow services. That's what we do. But again, I was sharing ideas with him, and we were trying to come up with solutions that could actually be viable for him. And ultimately, we came up with the conclusion that many times when you are a small, medium-sized company looking to enter a new market through distribution, it might not necessarily be a good idea for you to do that on your own. And that is because, of course, you don't have enough resources to sustain an entry in a new market. Of course, you don't have the expertise and the experience, and you might go through a lot of pain and make a lot of mistakes along the way that in some cases might also prevent you from being successful. It might also destroy your company because, again, you're not big enough to withstand these types of challenges. And so together we said, okay, how about we partner, or he partners with a existing distributor that does pretty much the exact job he does, and then enter the region that way. We start building the relationship with somebody who already has network there, and then continue building up the business that way. Of course, we reduce the margins, we reduce the profit that we can generate out of the deal because there are two people involved now, but it is a very good way to mitigate risk and ultimately access a new market. And again, we were talking about this opportunity, and I felt that personally that was a pretty solid option for him, specifically because the company was not big enough to sustain a market entry on its own. And of course, if you are a business that is big enough to come in, make all the mistakes, and still be able to hold it together and then grow from there, then entering a new market on your own might be the good way to go. But of course, if you are a small organization and you're looking at new opportunities to expand your business and then continue to grow, the opportunities for you to make mistakes are actually reduced to the bare minimum, because everything that goes wrong might affect you in a big way. And so from his perspective, the distribution business he wanted to build was a relationship with another distributor, very experienced, that could potentially share insights and knowledge around the Middle East and support him in bringing the products he had into this market. And of course, the process was, going both ways, because he could also help that particular distributor selling products in the geography he was experienced in. And so the point I'm getting at here is we thought a lot about relationships and how to correctly enter a market like the Middle East. And the reason why we got to the point where we said, okay, it's better for you just to focus on an existing distributor and partner with him is because we ascertained that the Middle East is a region where relationships are very important, and it takes a reasonable amount of time, a significant amount of time for that matter, to build those relationships correctly. And as a small company, you might not necessarily have that time available to get that result, because you don't have that window of time where you can potentially be at a loss and then wait for the results to come in. You need to generate results quicker, and your window of opportunity is actually very short. And so in order for you to be successful with a shorter cycle, it is much better to build a relationship with an intermediary who might already know the market and might support you if the deal is good enough for both sides, rather than building up the relationship with the final client, which might take months, if not even years. And so I've been through that situation myself, and of course I've been at the wrong side of the equation, because I came here and I wanted to build everything from scratch, and that affected me partially because of course I had to learn that relationships were built over time. But I think overall it made me better, especially from a strategic standpoint, because I learned how to navigate the Middle East environment in a very solid manner. And thankfully, alongside my partners, I was able to create a strategy that could actually propel us forward instead of making us fall apart. And again, my partners were instrumental in that, because they have 35 years of experience doing business here in the Middle East. But long story short, the relationship building process in the Middle East takes quite a bit of time, and it is important to be aware of that before you step into the game. Now, talking more generally about relationship, it doesn't matter if you're in distribution or you want to set up a new business or you're in acquisitions. You need to be aware of the time that it takes to build these types of relationships. And you need to understand, from my perspective at least, and from my experience, whether or not you're willing to withstand that challenge and you're able to afford that time frame that will pass between you entering the market and you having built up all these relationships. Personally, I kind of underestimated the challenge when I first came in, and that's why I'm sharing these thoughts openly. They're not supposed to be a must do, but they're my own experience and the experience of other people I've been in contact with. What I found is that if at least you can build a relationship with somebody that is already there, that already has contacts, the cycle becomes a lot shorter for you. And of course, it might not be the perfect solution for you, but it's a good start and a good way to potentially test a market. And after that, you can consider going on your own and potentially exploring other solutions. I've been doing everything on my own ever since, and of course it took me longer to do that, and that's why I'm sharing these thoughts with you. And so the point I'm getting at here is, it is important to understand what is it that you're open, and what is it that you can afford to do when entering a market like the Middle East. If you are thinking long term, then you can think about building things on your own. If you need to get shorter returns, then it might be useful for you to partner with somebody that already has the relationships on the ground. That's the bottom line. Those are, I think, are the two options available for companies. And again, those are just open thoughts about myself going through the process and other people discussing with me their potential entry. Hopefully you find this information helpful, and I'll see you in the next one.